Power Prep Sports Network here today with head softball coach Sampson Lady Tigers, Coach Jason Wambles. Coach, man, it's been a really surprising year for the Sampson Tigers. I mean, a lot of youth in your program. Tell us what's been key. Has it been a change of attitude? What's been happening there?
I think the biggest thing is just consistency of us working on our fundamentals and not trying to do too much, just being good at, making the consistency of the routine outs, swinging at good pitches, being disciplined at the plate, and just working on getting better each day when we go out there. It's one of the biggest things we do is we try to get better every day. Of course, every coach tries to do that, but we're really pushing that. And again, the consistency of us just making the routine plays and being a fundamental softball team right now, I think has been key for us. We've gotten some breaks in some games where we, had an opportunity to get something going, and we did. You don't always get those breaks, but right now we're getting them, and, we're riding it out. Girls had a good first half of the season. Now we'll be tested a little bit more this second half. We're going to play some good teams. The first week back from spring break, we have New Brockton and Kinston, who are both powerhouses in softball. So we'll get a good test of where we're at. And again, we're ahead of schedule where I thought we would be at this point. I did think we would be competitive, but I didn't know we'd be as competitive as we have been and win as much as we have. So that's been a good thing for us.
All right. Well, as far as your pitching, that's one thing that a lot of softball coaches, if they have more than one pitcher, they can really be successful. I know you're working on finding who those girls are going to be. Tell us a little bit about who they are, who all you're working in that area, and I know you've got some that's been injured, and there's a lot of youth there. But just tell us about your pitching staff.
Well, first off, the surprising part about that is our entire pitching staff is 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, with 2 of those being 8th graders. And, I think Kaylee Johnson has kind of brought herself to the top as what we'd say our number 1 is. And she's an 8th grader, and, man, she works hard, and she does a good job. Allie Godwin has done a good job as being our number 2 right now with the varsity. She's going to throw strikes. She doesn't throw it by you. She doesn't throw as hard as Kaylee does, but she does a great job of hitting her spots and throwing strikes and being consistent. And then we have Kelly Sheffield, who has also come on as a 9th grader. She's pitched all our JV games and done a great job for us. We have 1 injured right now, Michaela Phillips, who's a 7th grader, who I expect to be really good before it's all over with. Her work ethic is great. But all 4 of those young ladies, they go work with pitching coaches after school and after practice, and they work at practice, and they also play positions on the field. So, they're getting a lot of work in, but they've got good folks at home taking care of them, making sure they're getting where they need to be and getting the work they need outside of our practices.
Now, another thing too, Coach, is I noticed that in all of your games you put in a lot of points on the board, and that's really kind of opposite of what you see when you see when you see a lot of these scores. Usually it's low scoring games, but I tell you, y'all have been putting up some big numbers offensively. What have you been doing there?
Well, one of my biggest things is I think when I know that we've got some good pitching coming like we do, and we've got a pretty solid defense as well, and again, they're real young, so we've spent a ton of time hitting the ball. And, people talk about we want to be able to hit the ball, but in my opinion, and what's worked for me in the past is if you're going to be a hitting team, you've got to practice hitting every day. And we work on trying to get about 100 cuts a day in hitting. I know that sounds like a lot, but we've got a method to that madness where we're either in the cage hitting off the tee and soft tossing and different things, live pitching, whatever we can get in. And we do different things every day, but we're going to swing the bats. We try to get 100 cuts a day. And to me, you do that 3 or 4 days a week, and at some point in time, you're going to be a good hitting team. And it's really emerged for us. It's worked well. But the girls really bought into the technique that we use as hitting, and they've become very disciplined at the plate. We don't swing a lot of bad pitches. We're going to get our money's worth when we get up there, and we do a good job bunting and doing the things that we need to do as a hitter. But again, that goes back to as much practice as we put into that part of the game.
Well, going into spring break, y'all are sitting on 8-1.
Yes, sir.
First in the area, 2-0.
Yes.
In the area. Big second half coming up. Hopefully you won't have, when you get back from spring break, You won't have any spring break jet lag where everybody's still wishing they were at the beach or whatever they do during spring break. But you did mention New Brockton and Kinston. Where is Delville and Hartford and Sampson the three? Is that the three area teams?
And New Brockton.
And New Brockton.
Yes.
All right. So still got them to play, and then you'll have your area tournament.
Right.
Now, how is that determined on where that'll be held?
The area champion is who gets to host that tournament, and